An entire book could be written about the Puget Lumber Company of Port Gamble, Washington. The Pacific Lumber Trade Journal has printed stories from time to time about its early experiences, Mike Drew's eccentricities, etc., and there's still more to come. Ben Miller, who sells machinery, tallow, skid grease, car grease, bicycles, and pumps for Mitchell, Lewis, and Staver Company, and who was an employee at the mill at one time, tells a good one on Mike Drew that is worth repeating. Mr. Drew is now a wealthy and honored citizen of Seattle, and can afford to enjoy the following. According to Miller, there was a scarcity of white labor in and around Port Gamble in 1865. The company was at times hard pressed for men to operate their plant. This state of affairs forced a thought germ into the noodle of the mill engineer, and one day, after putting a keg of nails on the safety valve, he yelled lustily for Mike Drew. Mike, you know, was the foreman, and after Walker, the biggest man in Port Gamble. Mike came to the scene and wanted to know what was the matter. The engineer informed him that there was a hiatus in his salary and he wanted a raise, right away, if not sooner. Mike saw in a minute what the trouble was, and, as he wouldn't be bluffed, told the man to go to Muckleshoot or some other summer resort. The engineer got his pay, and Mike started into the woods for another engineer. As said before, men were scarce, and Mike had to rely on the natives for a substitute. So, he tackled the first flat-headed Siwash he met, and soon he had a bargain made. The Indian didn't know very much about an engine, and Mike, who was rather rusty in Chinook, substituted a few English words, and the following conversation ensued. Mike: Maigatigi Mamuk? Do you want to work? Siwash: Ikta Mamuk. What kind of work? Mike: Mamuk paya kikuli kopa kettle. Make a fire under the kettle. Siwash: Konsech Micah pay. How much will you pay? Mike: Ich dollop ich son. $1 a day. Siwash: Highest flush. Mike: Well, Ayak Chaco Copa Mill. Well, hustle over to the mill. When Mike and the native arrived at the mill, steam was pretty low and there was a lack of water in the boilers. This being remedied, Mike gave the Indian the following instructions. Mike: Micah Kumtux Mamuk Glet Haya Skookum Baya. You know how to build a great, big, blazing fire? Siwash: Nawitka. Yes. Mike: Micah Kumtux Bump. You know about pumps? Siwash: Tlunas Nawitka. Maybe so. Mike: Micah Nanachuko glass. You see this glass? Siwash: Nawitka. Yes. Mike: Micah Nanachuko glass. You see that glass? Siwash: Nawitka. Yup. Mike: Well, highest flush spus Micah quanasum mamuk blet skookum baya. Bequanasum flushnanich pump. Bequanasum flushnanich glass. Highest flush spus chuck quanasum mithlite sitcum copa glass. Spus chaco sachli halo steam. Spus chuck chaco kikuli. Blet mamuk poo. Be gone away. Highest cockshit. Be Micah go to hell in a minute. Micah cumtux? Well, you need to keep up a big strong fire and keep an eye on the pump, and pay attention to the glass. The water needs to stay in the middle of the glass. If it goes higher, there'll be no steam. If the water gets lower, it'll up and explode and everything will be broken and you'll go to hell in a minute. You understand? Siwash: Nawitka. Sure. Mike: Well, all right then, damn you, pitch in. They do say that the Siwash made a fearful and wonderful engineer. Cyrus Walker didn't sleep weeknights for weeks, expecting to see the mill blown up. Mike Drew carried a parachute with him in case of being blown sky high. Eventually, however, a new engineer was secured, and the Siwash resumed his former occupation, that of digging clams. Pacific Lumber Trade Journal.